Hello, I'm your host, Giselle Gamby, and this is the Intuitive Pull Podcast, where together we'll embrace the plans we did not make yet, unfold businesses and lives that are so much greater in wealth in all ways than any business or life plan could ever achieve. My wish is that you make intuition your most trusted advisor. So buckle up. Get present and let's go. Hello, and welcome to this episode. It's Saturday morning here, and I was not expecting to be recording an episode. Fridays are my podcasting days, and I'm supposed to be going out looking at kitchen sinks and taps and door handles as we're putting in a new kitchen in a few weeks' time. However, I have just been out on a run and I've received a theme to speak about, and I was compelled, driven to speak about it this morning. On that note of going out for a run and receiving intuition, if you want to receive intuition, going out for a run or for a walk is a really amazing way to create space in your mind to connect to intuition. That, my goodness, the amount of times that I've received intuition that has been so valuable and also so profitable, I've received them when I've gone out for runs. So here we are. My feeling is that this theme arrived and I was compelled to record it immediately is because you have asked me to speak to this theme. And this theme is audacious intuition. When we receive intuition that feels audacious. And my feeling is that you have received audacious intuition. Maybe you received it a few years ago. Maybe you received it a little while ago. Maybe you're about to receive it on this episode. And you have asked me to show you or to speak to you and share the message to be free to act upon that audacious intuition, to have the freedom within, to act upon that audacious intuition. Because the thing is, when we receive intuition that feels that far out, that feels so crazy or unusual or bold or daring, our egos can come in very easily and tell us stories like how inappropriate it would be to act upon that intuition, or who are you to do that thing, or oh no, it's so not your place to. No. And and the good old, well, what will people think if I? This is the discerning factor. If your intuition is of service, if it's of service to another, if it comes from love, if it's of service to you and it comes from love, and it's not your ego, it's not about manipulation, it's not about dishonesty, okay? If your intuition is of service to yourself and or others, and it's come from love and inspiration, why would you hold it back? Why would you hold it back? So I want to tell you some stories about when some audacious intuition arrived in my world and what it created. The process that I went through to be free to act upon it. So, I mean, I have a million stories, but I'll break it down into a few pivotal ones that are those moments that I think I will never forget, because I'm so grateful. And I'm so grateful that I followed through on that audacious intuition. So the first one was in 2013, and I'm not actually going to go into the story behind it. That might be another episode. But I was out for a run, believe it or not, And whilst I was running, I received the message, stop and meditate. And I thought to myself, what? I'm running. And I received the message again, stop and meditate. So I did. And again, without going into the story, I received an inspiration I had a real moment of clarity, around, actually it was about my business and how contracted I was feeling in it. And when this moment of clarity arrived, I thought, oh my God, this would be of so much value to other people who are also feeling contracted. And so I went home, and I love writing. Writing has always been my go-to place. And I took my computer out and I started writing just for me about what I received. And then when I read what I wrote, I thought, oh, this might be really valuable for other people. And then I thought, and this was the audacious piece, I thought, well, what if I actually attached an offering to coach to this piece of writing? And I put it on Facebook. I'd been writing on Facebook for years, but just out of joy, I'd never actually attached anything to do with my business with it, or to it, I should say. Anyway, then the ego came in, and it was, what will people think? They might think that you're crazy. And then I thought, you know what? And it was quite an immediate response. It was, I don't really care anymore about what people think. I'd cared so much about what people thought over so many years, and I'd arrived at a place that it was like, I don't really give a And so I put the post up, and I said, it's an offering, at the end of the post, there's an offering to come in and coach for 6 months in a 6-month partnership, which was a completely different way of how I had run my coaching business before. And then that night, 2 people messaged me, and through Facebook Messenger only, signed up to a 6-month program at a fee that was way beyond I had ever received. It was an incredible moment because I appreciated the ease that intuition gifts us with. When we operate from a linear orientation, meaning that we think that it's what we do that creates the result, and therefore we have to do 100 million things, we complicate things so much. We overexert, we effort, we stress, we exhaust, and we bloody waste a lot of time. Whereas when our intuition arrives, it gives us the most perfect directive that includes no static, that includes, or I should say excludes, wastage of effort. And it's really only our minds that come in and create the static when we do the, oh, I couldn't do that. What will people think? Oh, it's really inappropriate. Oh, it's not my place to. Oh, who are you? Who do you think you are to? Well, let's just drop all of that, because when intuition comes in and it's of service and it's of love, why would you want to railroad that? It's only our egos, right? Our ego who wants to keep us safe, but who wants to live a safe life, hey? Who wants to live a safe life? I don't want to live a safe life. I want to live a full life, a full life, that when I take my last breath, that I know that I have given it all. And so my wish here to you is that by listening to this episode that I believe you asked me to record, that you will act upon your audacious intuition. I want to give you another couple of examples. A couple of years ago, I'd be in meditation, literally out of the blues, somebody would arrive in my awareness. I wasn't trying to think about them. I wasn't even trying to think about anyone. I wasn't even trying to think. I was in meditation. And in the spaciousness of that meditation, people would arrive. I'm not talking about many at the one time, like somebody would arrive. And then I was curious and I was like, why did that person arrive in my awareness? And so then I would feel into that. And then I started to receive information about them. And then I decided that I would, what I started to call download. I'd take my computer, I'd have my eyes closed, and I would literally download what I was hearing about that person. And it would be quite specific information. And so then I messaged the person and would say, this is really bizarre. It's never happened to me before. Well, that was in the beginning anyway. But you arrived in my meditation and I just received all this information about you. Would you like me to share that with you? And, what would happen was, it's really funny that you messaged me because you were on my mind and I've been thinking about reaching out to you. Crazy, hey? We are connected on the energetic plane. You and I are connected on the energetic plane. We're having the same experience, just in a different form here, as what happened to me when I would be meditating and people would be coming into my mind. So you came into my mind this morning as I was running. So that's how people started to come into coaching a couple of years ago, which was completely new to me. And then one day somebody arrived in my meditation, which was really inappropriate, I felt. It was my beautiful, powerful, wise mentor coach, Daniel Batten, who I've been in his mastermind now. I'm now in just the beginning of my 4th year with him. And his wife arrived in my awareness. And I had met her when I'd been on retreat in New Zealand at their home, but I'd only ever said hello and goodbye. I knew nothing about her. And then the same thing happened. I started to receive all this information about her. And I thought, this is no, I can't go here. Like how this is a boundary crossed, right? Imagine me reaching out to my coach's wife saying, I've just received all this information about you. I mean, I really felt that was inappropriate. And so when I was having a session with my coach, I said to him, hey, something really bizarre happened. Your wife arrived in meditation and I received all this information about her, but it is so inappropriate. I was just, the only reason why I was sharing with him was literally just to offload it for no other reason. And then he said these words that I will never forget. It actually makes me emotional just remembering now. And he said to me, how could God, talking to God, ever be a boundary crossed? Oh my God. And those words that, still make me emotional now, a few years on. In that moment, I knew I was going to coach with him for another year. Do you see how generous, audacious intuition is? Do you see, even if it's not audacious, do you see how generous intuition is? Do you see that he didn't have to go into some massive sales strategy to say, hey, why don't you sign up for another year with me because we need to do this and that? Like, he spoke such wisdom in response to my intuition that felt completely inappropriate. And not only did his wife come on board with me for 2 years now, but I am now in my 4th year with him. Do you see how loving? Do you see how of service? Do you see how generous following our intuitive pulls is? I hope you do. And I hope that you go and follow yours immediately after this episode. And there's one more example I want to give you. This beautiful, beautiful man that I had worked with in my hotel career for many years ago, I should say, reached out and said, "Hey, I'm coming to Australia." He lived in America. He said, "I'd love to catch up with you." This was just through Messenger. And on Messenger, I had this massive feeling go through my body of, oh my God, this man is going to become a client. I had no detail at that point except for that. And then I let it go. And then when he came to Australia, we were meeting up for breakfast and I was walking to the cafe and that feeling came back. Like this feeling that was so strong, like almost overwhelming my body, but I had no detail, unlike the other people. And I thought, okay, this feels really wrong, but I have to tell him and I have to invite him into the mastermind program. Like, who does that? So we sat down and I said, gosh, when you messaged me, I mean, after, a bit of chit chat. So when you messaged me, I had all this energy run through my body. And he goes, me too. And I said, this is really wrong, but I have to invite you into the year-long mastermind program. I didn't know anything about what was going on with this man. And he said, I've got goosebumps everywhere. Yes. Who does that? Where's the sales process? Right? And it's been an immaculate partnership. Oh my God, the generosity in this man's life. Well, let me say the generosity from which this man has been leading as he's a consultant in the States in a year that, last year with COVID, he lost so much business. And he has continued to show up with such generosity that he has got business coming out of his ears this year and doing work that is such a privilege to do. And you know what? That wouldn't have happened if I didn't follow through. When we were speaking at the cafe, and we talked about, I've got chills and yes, and let's do this. And, we were both quite emotional. And he said, I talked about the fee. And I said, it gets paid off, within 7 months, the first 7 months, I think it was. And then he said, can I just pay the fee up front in full? I was like, yes. I never even thought that was a possibility. And so there you go. Look at the generosity, look at the surprise, look at the delight, look at the unexpectedness. Look at the overflow for everyone, the impact that this man is having in the States, where they really suffered financially and emotionally. And this man is doing God's work with these people, with his clients. He really is. And so had I listened to oh my God, this is so wrong, I cannot do this, I cannot follow through on this, what would I have not allowed? And so what would you not allow if you agreed with your stories that you just can't possibly follow through on that intuition? What would you not allow? So get out of the way, hey? Get out of the way. You have asked me to record this for you to follow through on your intuition, whether it feels audacious or not. I'm pretty sure it does. Otherwise, I would not have received this episode theme out of my run when I should be shopping for kitchen sinks. But I'd much rather be here with you. And I'm so pleased that you came into my awareness today and that we've had this conversation. And I want to know what happens when you have implemented, acted upon your audacious intuition. Let me know. Message me. Reach out to me. Email me. Whatever. Call me. Let me know. All right, everyone. Lots of love. And now back to buying kitchen sinks, taps, and handles. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. I trust that you were intuitively pulled. If you liked this episode, please follow this podcast and share the love with your family, friends, and colleagues. Let them know that I'm here. And if you'd like to have more communication with me, join the Intuitive Pull Facebook group, where you'll find details in the show notes, and you can let me know about what pulls you've been receiving by listening to these episodes. Until next time, so much love.